Hello, I'm Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and this episode is aimed at every indie artist out there, okay? And it is a simple message that you need to make marketing part of your overall process. You need to put in the time, the resources, and the financials in order for you to be successful, okay? Now, I will, of course, expand upon this, but before I do, I would like to take the opportunity to invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you get all the various lessons and episodes that I put out right when I put them out. Thank you if you just did, and thank you if you already were. It truly does mean a lot to me, as I hope it does to you. So, let's get into this. Let me kind of start with an anecdote and build from there, right? So, for me, most recently, I've made a feature film, and I've been working on that, my second feature film, called A Bogota Trip, and we finished it, right, which was a journey of itself, right? Really, it was miracle after miracle after miracle to just even get it to this phase of it, right? And I'm sure you can relate. And so now you've made this, and it's good, right? That is hard. Congratulations. And yet, the work is not over because most indie films, when you get a distributor, for them it's a numbers game. They're not really going to market it. They don't care. They're not going to give you an upfront guarantee. For them, they'll take it. If they can get something out of it, great. But even if it's on whatever platform, let's say like a Tubi, and just making $3 a month, for them, it's fine because they've got 10,000 of these things. You, as the filmmaker, not going to get squat, whatever. And it is what it is, right? And I'm not the first person to say this, which, begs the question of why I have a distributor in the first place, but that's another episode for another day. But the point is that if you want your movie to succeed, you have to market it. And by extension, that goes for everything else, right? That's why this episode is geared at any artist out there. If you want to break through, you have to market it yourself. Because the truth of the matter is, even if people do market it for you, there can be a very cookie cutter sort of way. Immortal Technique has a song called Message and the Money. It's very vulgar in many ways, but there's an aspect to it where he says, and to all these A&R artists recycling marketing schemes, you're too lazy to essentially market cultured hip hop when there's a market for pet psychology, as he says, and so forth. So there's a market for everything. It's just how do you get to it? And, when it's a little bit outside the box, people don't want to put in that work. Again, they just want to hedge their bets. But there's a way to go about it. And most times, it does fall on you, really. And it's interesting because, they say in filmmaking that the director should never edit his own trailer. And on the indie level, I've seen directors always make a better trailer than the quote-unquote marketing team. Because the marketing team is playing it safe. They're trying to just fit it within, the preordained way of what they think they know will sell, as opposed to making it really stand out for what it actually is. Right? And so, rather than fight against that, just make it part of your process. For me, that was a big component. I probably like you, it took so much effort just to get to a completed stage that it's like, okay, I'm done with this. I did what I needed to do. Creatively, I'm spent. It's done. Here you go, world, right? But it just doesn't work like that. And rather than fight against that, I've been now starting to embrace it. And I'm very early on in this journey, so I can't claim to report back any meaningful results in that way, but I know I will, and I'm thinking about things in a completely different way and utilizing them as part of my creative process rather than separate, and it's like, oh, I gotta do this now. And so that's the mental shift I'm encouraging you to take for yourself, right? And make it part of the process if you want to succeed. You know? And even if, you know, I know many authors, right? Even ones that have been, you know, gotten a publisher and gotten their check, you know, and so forth, they know that if they really want to succeed, they kind of have to drive the marketing efforts. You can call it sad, but it's true. And they don't argue against that reality. And they find success because of it. So that's my message to you. As always, if you have any questions or thoughts of your own, please comment down below or hit me up on social media at Svitek. Would love to hear from you. Likewise, if you appreciate what I do and think you might benefit from coaching, well, that's linked to down below. Or perhaps you just kind of want to dip your toe in first and see what it's all about. That's what my Patreon page is for, patreon.com/PhilSvitek. Likewise, another way to support me is to purchase the art that I have created, the books, the movies, and the merchandise and so forth, and that is all available to you. Again, linked to down below. Supporting that stuff really does help support this because, of course, by making that stuff and having it be essentially self-sustaining, then I get to create more of it, learn more, and share all that right here with you. So that way your creative journey can be at least a little bit easier, right? That is the sole purpose of all of this. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope to see you next time.